What's up? Brandon Lilly here. Going to be talking today about something that I feel is very important. There's not a whole lot of information out there for guys that are first-time lifters or still inexperienced lifters. So I'm going to give you my take on how to improve your first meet, or things that you can look for if you're still young in the sport. Number one, you have to realize that in America there's no real organized progression within the sport. Okay. In baseball we have T-ball, then we have like coaches pitch, then we have minor leagues and little leagues and senior leagues and all the way up to AAU and whatever, college, then the major leagues, minor leagues. Same for basketball, same for football, same for tennis. But in powerlifting, I hear so many guys say, "Oh, I'm not going to compete until I'm elite," or "I'm not going to compete until I can total this, or I can do this, or I can do that." Well, what you need to understand is that's probably the worst mentality that you can have. I had the same mentality. I thought that the world was going to be watching to see what Brandon Lilly did in his first meet, which is totally ridiculous. Nobody gives a shit what you're going to do, and you're going to realize that within the meet. The only people that are going to care are your mom and dad and your girlfriend or something in the audience. Nobody else is really going to care what you're doing. So understand that. And I don't mean that as an insult. I just mean that you should take some of the pressure off yourself. And that takes me to step two, or the second rule. Don't do things that are going to add stress, okay? If you've had 10 or 12 weeks of a training cycle, whatever your training cycle has been, and whether it's been great, whether it's been bad, understand and realize what you are is what you are, and what you can do is what you can do. No amount of magic in the last 7 days is going to transform you from a first-time lifter to an all-time legend. Nothing. You're not going to be able to go into the meet, if you've squatted 500 in the gym and somehow magically bloat your way to an 800-pound squat. It's just not going to happen. Realize that if what you've done in the gym is a clear indicator of what you will do in the meet. With that being said, you also have to give appreciation to the judges, the atmosphere, the bars, the equipment. All that stuff is going to be new to you. So if you go to the meet, let's say your best squat in the gym is 500 pounds, and I'm talking just raw, 500-pound squat. Well, if that's your best, then what can you do 400 for, or 425 for? Hopefully you can open up around 425 or 430, something that you could very, very comfortably double, possibly triple. That's kind of my rule is, even now, I try to open up with something that I can very easily double and triple if I had to. Even when I squatted the 843 in Capo, representing the shirt, thank you Wayne Hallett, my opener was 777. So I was roughly 75 pounds underneath what I finished with. And that would indicate to me that I can very easily double that weight, if not triple it. That's what you need to think about on your opening squat. The opening squat is going to be the most pressured lift of your life. It's going to feel like 1,000,000 pounds. You're going to be nervous. The judge is going to be looking at you like you're crazy, and you're probably going to be feeling a little bit crazy. But what you need to do is realize you've done this before. You've done this 1,000 times in the gym, and that's why you've made the decision to jump to competition. And if you've made that decision, I want to congratulate you myself, because that is a huge step. It's a big hurdle for somebody who just goes to the gym and busts their ass to actually step on the platform and put it on the line. That's a huge commitment. So set your squat, your opening squat, to something you can easily double or triple. From there, make a small jump, and then from there, make another small jump. For me, if I had squatted 500 in the gym and I was trying to replicate that, I would probably go somewhere in the neighborhood of around 425 on my opener. If that went really, really well, I might go 465, which would leave me a 35-pound jump. See, a 40-pound jump from first to second, a 35 from second to third. If it didn't go so good, I might go 440, 450. And then if I get my bearings back a little bit, I might gamble and go 470, 480. But I would most likely play it safe and go 465. You've got to remember, in the gym, you don't have the pressure of 3 judges watching every move you make. You don't have the pressure of the lights being switched on or off to indicate a good lift. You don't have an audience in front of you. You don't have the music. You don't have the scorer's table shouting out things and you getting your knees wrapped under a timely fashion, or whatever, getting under the bar in a timely fashion. So remove that stress. Make yourself ready mentally by doing things that you've already done. And remember, 500 pounds in the gym, that's a gym PR. We all have gym PRs and we all have meet PRs. You need to become the kind of lifter over time where your meet PRs start to transcend above your gym PRs. A lot of newbie lifters have higher gym PRs than they do meet PRs, and I think that's okay. But as you progress in the sport, that needs to reverse. It's just like me, my best gym squat up until this last meet, for a few different reasons, my best gym squat was 800, and my best meet squat was 826. But just because I was doing things a little bit different, I did have a higher meet or a gym squat than a meet squat. But that was the plan. That was part of my preparation for Capo. Totally different go around that time, but that's because I'm a little bit more experienced and a little further down the road. So on to the bench press. Same type deal. Set yourself up for what you want to hit and work your way backwards. Something that you can very easily triple or, very easily double. Maybe triple is a good opener. Something that you can get for a good solid rep. Probably a double is a good second. And something that's going to put you, in your upper near 100% range is a good third. That's a good rule of thumb. Something you can triple for an opener, something you could double for a second, and something you can single for a third. That's the best way. It just came to me as simple as that when I was talking here, but that's a pretty good rule for a beginner. And the deadlift, just take your opener to get in the meet. Make it something solid. Make it something that you can pull. Try to build yourself a good total on your second. And then go for broke on your third. Have fun. Set yourself up to go 8 for 9, 9 for 9, and build on that day. Move forward every single meet. Now, the other things, meet week. This is what I tell every young lifter. Like I said, you're not going to make a huge difference in the last week, so stop trying. Monday and Tuesday, go in, do some light body weight stuff or some very light barbell, dumbbell lifts, just to get a sweat going, to get some blood flowing through your body, to break up the monotony and the stress of waiting, and then rest. Eat a lot. Get in bed early. If you typically go to bed at midnight or 1, go to bed at 10 or 11. If you have to take something like, on meet week, something that I really, really love is ZMA, and I take the Animal PM. Those things put me out. So if I'm really struggling, because the week of a meet is stressful and you're anxious and you're excited, so you're going to be on a high, but you need the rest. So around 9 or 10 o'clock, I take those Animal PM and the ZMAs, and it puts me to sleep by 10:30 or 11, and I sleep great. I feel good when I wake up. Drink a lot of water. Remember this, you will not be able to make up for dehydration on meet day if you're dehydrated. Start drinking water on Monday and drink and drink and drink and drink and drink. Eat good foods. Don't go out to your fast food place and get a bunch of, double cheeseburgers or whatever. Eat good quality food for a week and see how much better you feel. See how much better you perform. The other thing is on meet day, what you want to bring with you. I tell everybody to bring a cooler. I tell them have something quick sugars like Snickers, Hershey's bars, things along those lines. I like natural honey. The other thing I like to have with me are deli sandwiches, like turkey sandwiches or peanut butter and jelly sandwiches are really filling and good. I stay away from Gatorade on meet day altogether because the electrolytes and the sugar makes me sick. So I drink a lot of water. If I'm feeling a little flat, I might have a Coke or something. But make sure that in between every single lift, you have 9 lifts. So before you lift, before your first squat, eat a little something. After every single lift, even if it's one bite, take something because you're going to be lifting for 10 to 12 hours. That's the way most meets are anymore. On a good meet, you might lift 6 or 7 hours. So imagine that you're working 6 or 7 hours out in the sun or out, outside doing something heavy labor. You're going to want to have that fuel in you, and believe me, by your third deadlift, you're going to be thankful that you started eating early. And that's what you need to do. Don't depend on simple sugars or junk food unless you feel flat. And then have the Hershey bar or the Snicker bar. Like I said, I like things like deli sandwiches, turkey, I shy away from lettuce and things like that on meat day because you can upset your stomach. But just simple turkey, little mustard. You know, some guys may like roast beef with mayonnaise or something. I don't like that stuff. I just like turkey and mustard. I like peanut butter and jelly. Like I said, I'll have Snickers or Hershey's if I'm feeling a little flat or if I'm feeling a little jittery or something. I'll have that. And the other thing, the night before you lift. Sorry, I'm kind of backtracking, but the night before you lift, make sure that you get in bed early, that you have a really good last meal, you know, before you go to bed. My favorite is hibachi. I like because I get a good thing of rice, I get a lot of beef, some good vegetables, and it sits well. It doesn't upset my stomach. It's just something that's easy on me. So that aside, the other thing, weigh-ins. If you can weigh in 24 hours in advance, do it. That way, that's one less stressor going forward. Once you weigh in, continue to drink, continue to eat, continue to drink, continue to eat. And I tell all new lifters, I don't care what weight class you're in, just get through the first meet. Do not cut your first meet. Do not. I mean, if it's a pound or 2 pounds or maybe 3 pounds, okay. But absolutely for a first-time lifter, do not cut, period. I don't care what total it'll get you, what elite it'll get you. If it's your last meet ever and you're going to only do one meet, then maybe it matters. But if you're coming into the sport with the hopes of having some longevity, you're going to hit your elite anyway. So what's it matter? Go in, establish a record for success. Now, gear checks. This is something that a lot of federations don't do, but it's something you're going to hope that you do. Before you pack up and go anywhere, I lay everything out on the bed where I'm going to have to look at it, okay? I go lift by lift. If I'm a geared lifter, I'm going, okay, here's my briefs, here's my squat suit, here's my belt, here's my knee wraps, here's my chucks, or here's my Olympic shoes, here's my socks that I wear, here's my underwear that I wear, here's my shirt, here's a pair of basketball shorts that I'm going to wear in the warm-up room. Check. Bench press. Here's my bench shirt, here's my singlet, here's my belt, here's my wrist straps. Check. On to the deadlift. Here's my deadlift socks. Here's my singlet. Here's my belt. Here's my deadlift slippers. Check. Check those things off for yourself. Once they're laid out and you visually check them again as you're putting them in your bag. If you're a raw lifter, here's my singlet. Here's my shoes. Here's my socks. Here's my belt. Here's my wrist straps. Here's my knee wraps. But check them once on the bed and once as you're putting them into the bag. It's very simple. You'll forget a lot of things. I recommend, if you need them, ammonia. You can order those from a lot of places online. I know that Walgreens and Rite Aid carry those as well. I know some places carry Nose Torque, which is about 100 packets worth of ammonia, and it's much stronger, much more efficient. You can get that online. I always pack 2 of those. Sometimes they leak. I always have one that's brand new, and I always have one that's fairly new that I might have used once or twice in training. They're $4 a bottle, so you can't really complain about the price there. And that's really about it. I mean, you know, there's going to be surprises. There's going to be things that happen. If you miss a lift, automatically repeat that lift. Don't try to do something miraculous and jump up or whatever. Just repeat the lift, get it in, and go on. And that will set you up for future meets and success. If I learned these things early on in my career, I may be much further down the road than I am right now. But it took me learning these things to be able to get to where I'm at. And like I said, no matter how many times I tell you, you're going to make some mistakes, even though I said, hey, double check your bag. You're going to be like, shit, I left my wrist straps at home. That's fine. That's part of learning. But if you can sort of curve around some of those things, have a better meet because of 15 minutes worth of video that I gave you, then we're both ahead, you know. That's the way I look at it. So good luck to you guys. Congratulations for making the jump from a gym trainer to a competitive lifter, and I'll see you guys on the platform. Thank you.